All right, so everybody's going to be making a 7-minute presentation. Do you remember in the first class, I know Mona, you won't remember this because you weren't here, but do you remember Jennifer Ivanovich's little video? Yeah, it was brilliant, wasn't it? It was really good. Luckily, it is online and you can watch it. So one of our Evolve participants who was extremely challenged as a public speaker did a video instead. That was her solution for how to handle this presentation. So it allowed her to control the time and everything. And she did a video of herself doing the process, talking about her actual project and prototype. She addressed all of the things that I'm going to tell you about in a video, and then she was there, she showed the video, and passed out the materials that she had designed. So she was able to be there, and she could handle the Q&A part, but for her, that's what she was able to do. It was a great solution for her, because she is a challenged speaker. So this was a much better option for her. You are all welcome to handle this however you want to do. But you will have up to 7 minutes. You don't have to use the entire 7 minutes, but you can use, you might be able to you might be able to sell some of your time to Tim. Ooh, I made him almost do a spit take.
$5 a minute now. I own it.
So, I know that for some of you, the other here is, who is this going to be presented to? It will be presented to us. Danny will be here as well. And I think that there are options to have other people join us, depending on where we want to be with things. So I want to leave it up to us. It is absolutely plausible to have people come for only portions of the time. For instance, I know that Carrie would love to have the mayor and the city manager watch your presentations. We can have you go first or last so that is possible. Or you can say to me, we don't want the mayor and the city manager in these presentations because we're never going to make a presentation to them. You and I will make your case for you, and I promise I'll do it well, depending on what you want. But for folks at Berea College, whether you want to have Derek or Peter Hackford or some of the other folks within our world over in crafts at the college, let us know and we'll try and arrange or not arrange what your desires are. Now don't just say, I don't want anybody here because you're afraid. That's not a good enough reason. But think about what would be meaningful for you and what would help stretch you and help you get better at making presentations along the way. So those folks who will be observing will know ahead of time, because you're going to have to give it to me, what you want to get out of the presentation from a panelist. So if you are making a presentation to a bank loan officer, the mayor would know that he's supposed to be pretending to be a bank loan officer. So he'll be thinking as much as he can like a bank loan officer in order to give you feedback on your presentation. So if you were in that case, you'd probably would want your presentation to be really heavy on numbers. So you get the idea. So here's what the judging criteria is. The clarity of your prototype, the clarity of your project, whatever the heck it is. So people need to understand what it is. And believe it or not, I mean, this isn't always that clear. So this is actually an important thing for us to remember, because we are so close to our own projects that sometimes we think everyone understands what we're all about, and yet we're not clear. The feasibility of your prototype turning into a business is another piece of this. So from the financial information that you've started to figure out about the feasibility of the costing versus the pricing, the market research that you've done that says, I'm going after these people, they want to buy these kinds of things, and I believe I have the product that fits that market, that's part of what this project feasibility is all about. The creativity of what you're doing matters. That's kind of the point here, right? So knowing that what you're working on is creative and thoughtful is actually a big part of what you should be thinking about, and what these folks and all of us will be thinking about when we're thinking about your presentations. And then how you deliver. So what it feels like is your passion coming across. For Jennifer, there was no way she was going to get her passion to come across unless she did a video, because she was too nervous and she didn't want to have tomatoes thrown at her like the singer. So for you,
So again, who is going to be, I don't want to call them judges, but it sounds like they are. Who's going to be the one rating?
so all of us are going to have the ability to give everyone feedback. So everybody's going to have a little sheet that has those things on the piece of paper, and we'll be able to give feedback to each other, number one. Number two, depending on where we land on who else we want in the room, you also can get feedback from Cindy, if Cindy can make it, which she can't. Danny can make it. I bet you can't make it. But Danny and I will absolutely give you feedback. But beyond that is really up to us. So who we want to have feedback from beyond ourselves is up to us. Does that answer your question?
I think so, yeah.
And I wouldn't call it judging as much as I would call it critiquing. Yeah. So,
Works.
so what you want to use for your presentations is completely up to you. So again, part of what you should be deciding is, what is the purpose of your presentation? Who are you trying to practice presenting to? So once you have identified who your audience for this presentation is, that may help you decide whether you want to be doing a PowerPoint or whether you just want to be talking about whether you want to bring in pillows and maybe have, a foam core board that has some of your design inspirations on it. Is up to you. That is your choice. But again, think about who you want your audience to be for that presentation. The piece that is important is, remember how we just had a little exercise that reminded us of a business card. So something needs to be left with us. A picture that has a description, that has some of your details, whatever the heck it is, something that tells a little bit of your story. This doesn't need to be anything fancy. It can be whatever you want it to be. But think about who your audience is for your presentation. What would they want? You want a sample of that. Does that make sense?
We just give one sample, not.
Yeah, not for everybody. Yeah, just one's fine. You can do more than one if you would like, but just
Does
one.
the sample have to have everything in it, or is it just
It's
a
up
paper
to-
trail?
It's up to you what is going to be useful for you. So,
For props.
I'm sorry?
No.
No, as the leave behind moment. So, Amy, for you, thinking about, you could go a variety of ways. You could leave pictures of your pillows, because you can't leave the pillows with someone. That has pricing, that has when you think they're going to be available, that has, who the intended market is, essentially much of what is in here in a couple of sentences. It's up to you. If that is what, let's think about it for crafts. I'm just going to make this up, Tim. I hope it's okay. Imagine you were having to make this presentation not to Tim, but to Derek, let's say, in order to get a new line approved.
Oh, I want him in my presentation.
What?
She wants Derek in her.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
I don't want Derek here.
Oh, you don't or you do?
I don't.
Huh? Is that no? Okay.
Okay.
I want to
So think about think about who needs to say yes to you, basically. Who do you need to hear yes from? That's who your audience should be for this presentation. So Chester, for you, it's a combination of Tim and Derek, in theory, right? It is, if we're gonna do a whole new line of furniture, and we know that we're not getting designs of that furniture, but just the concept of here's why we think designing a new line of furniture is where crafts needs to go. We want Derek to say, yes, we want Chester to design this new furniture because we believe that Chester has given us all the reasons why that is the smart thing to do. We have a history, the market is open, we have a solid brand, we've run some numbers, blah, blah, blah. Does that make sense? Now, for you guys, this is the same question to be asking yourselves. Who do you need to have say yes to you? So, Jonathan, is it for you figuring out where your next studio space is and what that looks like? What do you need? Who do you need to say yes to figure out what your next step is? Tim, who do you need to say yes?
My next-
A new
my next
wholesale,
customer.
yeah, your next wholesale client?
Yeah.
Justin, for you, what's the yes for you? Any ideas?
I'm
You
working
don't
on
have to say, you don't have to say anything, you can say, I don't know yet.
I'm working on it. I'm not.
Yeah. Does this make sense? Gina, any thoughts? Can you think of somebody who, or an entity that you need as a next step for a yes? Is it talking to an agent? Is it, or is it talking to a gallery?
Graduate school.
Is it talking to graduate school? Yeah, so figure out, and remember, the whole purpose of this is to be for you. So just because your answer is not what you think is the right answer, like, oh, it's not about a bank loan, or it's not about, this has gotta be meaningful for you in your job, in your world. And for you, graduate school is the logical next step. So it's about, how do I interview to get in where I wanna go, right? How do I show my work and talk about my experience so that they want to let me in and give me a full ride? Does that make sense? So now that we know the answers to these X's, since our presentations are going to be on the 20th, if you can get those, if you can get anything that's electronic to me by the Friday before, so that I can make sure that it's loaded into the computer and ready to run. And also by Friday, what's that date? Hold on.
The 20th?
17th.
The 17th.
17th.
Friday the 17th at 5, what your intended audience is. So if it's graduate school, if it's Nuke's wholesale client, I need to know that, and I need to know what you want to be happening at that moment. So is it a sale? Is it a next step? Is it an in-between step? So as much information as you can give me about what your presentation is intending to have practiced for you, and who it's for, and then whether you need any of this stuff, so that I make sure that we've got, if you're a Mac-only person, I'll get a Mac if that's what is required for you. Otherwise, whatever you need. If you need easels, whatever, let me know what you need for your presentation so that we can make sure that we have them here. So I need to know that by Friday at 5, February 17th. Is in height. Does that make sense?
Right, what's the second one mean again?
So, let's think about what you want to be saying in this presentation. This is everything that we've talked about for the past 8 sessions. Oh, sorry. We just discussed that. So, here's the construction of your presentation itself. Start with something good, people. You just practiced a little bit of that, but this is just some general advice about how to think about your presentation. Start with the sexiest, most exciting thing that you can imagine about your project, your program, that you can possibly imagine. Then summarize it. What are the details that tell your story quickly? Because remember, what we're being judged about is, not judged, sorry, what we're being critiqued on is the clarity of our project and our prototypes and our businesses. What were your goals and objectives? What are you trying to accomplish? These are all the things that we've done in our classes. Who are you actually trying to sell to? Who are partners that are already working with you or maybe working with you in the future, collaborators, what is the financial snapshot? Now, there is not going to be a critique of whether your numbers are right or wrong in any way, but I think it would be a mistake to not talk about money at all in your presentations.
It's all about the money.
And segue. So that financial snapshot can be whatever it is that you decide is meaningful for these conversations. For most of us, it needs to be about why this is going to work and how you think that money is going to come in and go out. So for you to show that you have thought about this, that you've done some good thinking, estimating, testing of what your costs are, what your time is, and who your market is, and how you can build towards actually meeting the sales goals that you think are realistic. So some people are going to want to avoid this. Try not to avoid it. It's really important. A timeline about how you're going to make this happen. When does it start? When do you want to get to, we're selling these now? Because for some of you, we're not even ready for, we haven't made it to our implementation stage at all. We are still very much in this is a good idea and we're starting to unfold it and here's how it's going to go. So how long will it take to get us to a new line of furniture? What does that look like in realistic Berea College time? It has to happen sometime. And then this is the most important thing. What do you want to get out of this presentation? So what is your ask of whomever you have decided your presentation is for? What do you want from them? It doesn't, for Tim, I know what it is. It is you want to land a wholesale client, right? So very clear.
Bunch of them.
You want to land a bunch of them. You're going to talk to a group of them. You're going to bring them in, you're going to have an event, and you're going to sell them on how this can unfold for you. For some of you, it's way more nebulous about what you want, because maybe you're at an in-between stage where you're not ready for the real ask yet, but there's a staged ask that is starting to happen. So it may be that what you're looking for is a new collaborator or a new fan who you can get advice from. Maybe you're looking for somebody to become one of your advisors, and you want them to meet with you once a month for the next year to give you advice about how you're unfolding your business. All of those are completely legitimate asks. So think about what you need and what you want from someone. And for some of us in here, it may not be that Derek, is the answer. It may be that you need to talk to each other. And that you need Amy to agree to weave something for brooms, and you need Amy to buy into it and to develop a deeper, more collaborative relationship. That is a totally legitimate presentation and ask. So don't just make something up because we keep talking about Derek being the answer, or that landing a sale is the answer. For you, it has to be what is the most important thing that you want to get done. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So start with something fun to get people excited. Start to dig into the details. Make sure you tell them where you're trying to go, who's playing with you, what's the money, how long is it going to take, and what do you want. Does that make sense? It's not that hard. 7 minutes. So I'm going to show you another little video. This one's really cute.